Hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Manatee Cares, a unique new education program. Our goal is to help you learn about the many agencies, groups, and individuals that are working together to provide services to our friends and neighbors going through tough times here in Manatee County. My name is Adell Erozer, and as Executive Director of the Community Coalition on Homelessness, I see people every day in our one-stop center that are in crisis, seeking help with their current living situations. Today, we're going to learn about the services of two of our partners at the One Stop Center that address the needs of these people, Manatee Children's Services and Family Resources. Both nonprofit organizations in Manatee County have a joint project that targets services for homeless youth aged 16 to 25. With us today are Gigi Kelly, the COO of Manatee Children's Services. And Gigi, I think we'll start with you and just find out, how did this project come about?
Sure, and let me start by thanking you, Adell, for allowing me the pleasure to come and talk to you about the Street Outreach Program and be in the company of these wonderful, resilient young people that are going to tell you about their story. But I will start by saying I've worked with Manatee Children's Services about 11 years. And most people know that our mission is to prevent child abuse. And to further that mission, we participated in providing residential placement for youth in foster care. And what we saw as we went along in those programs is that as youth age out of foster care, turn 18 and leave the system, unlike some young adults when they leave their home, and they have trouble or can't make their rent, they have a home to go back to. And what was happening to the people that we were serving is they don't have a home to go back to. And quite frankly, many of them end up on the streets when they can't make the rent or have trouble or challenges in their life. And it was heart-wrenching for all of us. I know Angela will speak to that too, my colleague, to see that happen. And so what we began doing was researching funding that would provide support to this young population out in Manatee County who were literally living on the streets. And we were fortunate in 2008, we made a stab at a Health and Human Services grant that provided, that would support case management to help these young people between 16 and 24 years of age. And we failed. We were turned down. Undaunted, the next year, I took a different approach and thought, who could we partner with who has the expertise and the guidance that could help us really push this through to the end. And the executive director of Family Resources and a personal friend of mine, Ann Melton, I reached out to her and she gladly took the opportunity to help me and mentor me. And on our second go around, I'm pleased to say that we were successful, albeit I got the call from the federal government saying, we're pleased to inform you that we are going to award you your program, the funding for your program for 3 years, but you have to cut it to a third. So along with that cut came out our plan to have a therapist and our plan to have a paraprofessional. We had to sit back and say, what's the most important thing that we can do to help the population we want to serve? And thankfully, we had Angela to turn to because she worked with Manatee Children's Services for a number of years and knows the resources in our community. So we were successful the next year in 2009. And we are now in our third year, which ends October 1st, and the new grant will be released soon. I look at my computer every day obsessively waiting for it to be released because it is a huge project. But I look forward to it, and we're going to go back to look at our original plan of having mental health component a paraprofessional and have a team. I think it's important. I think Angela will speak to you why it's important for her to have some extra help too. We do have Angela full-time as a case manager, and we are fortunate to now have a part-time case manager that assists Angela, but she keeps busy, and I'll allow her to talk a little bit about that.
So Family Resources, are they still involved in the project?
Family Resources is still very much a supporter of the project. They actually run Manatee County's only runaway shelter, and so they really want to focus on providing that component. They do throughout the community, so they're still very much a supporter of the project. But the part-time person that they did employ now is an employee of Manatee Children's Services for logistics.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, in full disclosure, I want to say that I've worked with Gigi a lot. She's had a lot of experience with homelessness. It was on the board that hired me when I first came on. So we've worked together on several projects, and this is the one that I have had the most experience with since it is located in the One Stop. And Angela Walsh, the outreach coordinator, is that correct?
I think that's what we're going with now.
Okay. Angela is in our office daily and has her office at the One Stop Center. And Angela, can you tell us about the program and what your goals are for the program?
Well, the day-to-day operations of the Street Outreach Program are located at the One Stop Center. It's a great partnership. The youth that we serve get to spend some time utilizing the services that's available at the One Stop, such as using the computers and taking showers and getting their laundry done and those type of things, as well as a little bit of additional case management that they may not normally receive if we weren't located there. We also provide some of the other services in a little bit more extensive capacity than they would get due to the large number of population that's served at the One Stop. A little more special attention, a little more hand-holding, if you will, sometimes, in order to lead them to the services they need. We provide emergency food, transportation, services for referrals for different aspects of whatever they need. We've referred clients to you all for assistance in getting into housing when they were ready. We've referred youth to getting substance abuse treatment and mental health treatment and those type of activities. We've worked with pregnant youth who have been referred to Solve House and different other. We really utilize all the other services in the community to assist us in our goal, which is basically the prevention of long-term chronic homelessness. We would like to help these youth get that under control before they become one of the, roughly 35% of the population of homeless that actually becomes chronically homeless. So in a way, we are actively working with kids that are youth that are on the street, but as well as that, we are also hoping to prevent further instances of homelessness.
And what is the, people always ask us these things when I'm executive director. They say, how many people are there that are homeless in Manatee County? How many people or how many youth would you say 16 to 25 are homeless in Manatee County?
I think the number is going to be larger than what we necessarily have as active clients. We do have, during our last reporting cycle, we did find that we had 115 unduplicated clients just in what we were able to work with. Now, there are some youth that we have not reached. There's a large population of youth who are unaccompanied, who are maybe of Hispanic origin and who are here illegally, which is difficult for us because we have not been able to secure an interpreter, and I do not speak Spanish. And so that is one untapped area so the number is really hard to ascertain. When we had done all of our initial funding requests, we did find that there could at any given time, based on runaways and youth that were unaccompanied, reported by the police and other shelters in the area and things, as well as working with the school system to find out about homeless youth or unaccompanied youth. There could be anywhere around 2,000 is a rough estimate.
Wow, 2,000 in Manatee County. That's hard to imagine because you don't see these people on the street.
No.
How do you find the homeless kids?
Youth are really different. You don't normally see them sleeping outside yet. One of the reasons for that is they haven't burned through all their bridges necessarily, so to speak, yet, like some of the older adults have. They are going around from friend to friend to friend a lot of times, as well as some of them have been able to ascertain shelter through one of the organizations such as Family Resources or Salvation Army. So they are a little bit more difficult to find, and the youth normally, unfortunately, there is a stereotype about what a homeless person looks like. And I mean, you and I both know from working at the One Stop that that's not always accurate, but people will be able to say, if you show them two pictures, they would be able to pick out possibly who the homeless person was based on the way they look. And the youth that we serve don't generally have that appearance about them. That gives me some hope sometimes, because then I know that they still honestly really care about their situation, and therefore they're much easier to kind of assist because they want to get out of the situation they're in. They haven't given up yet. So how we find them, a lot of the youth we started off with several youth who contacted us who had aged out of foster care, who by my past experience in employment and working with Gigi over at the main office of Manatee Children's Services, we had several youth that contacted us that were in this situation. So that was the first kind of run of youth we worked with. Then friends of them, they meet other youth on the street. We get a lot of word of mouth. Youth who utilize the one-stop services that weren't brought there by myself, that were using the services before we got there. We contacted them through working with the other youth and just hanging out around the facility at first. There's a lot of youth there. We've partnered with the Salvation Army and the other shelters in the area, such as Hope and Family Resources Shelter, obviously, to identify some youth that are in our age range that could benefit from some more supportive assistance. And we've really actively worked with them on those. We have been to camps. We've done the homeless count. We've identified a lot that way. So really, basically anything and anywhere where you see youth gathering in Manatee County, we've tried to be there and let them know that the service is out there, whether they're actively homeless right now or not, because that's always a lot of youth are in precarious situations, even though they're not technically homeless right now.
Right. Well, that's great, and it's a program that I'm very supportive of, and as you say, we have a lot of them using the services of the One Stop.
Definitely.
The other, today I'd like to also hear from our other two guests, Jazmine and Aaron. Thank you for coming. These are two of your clients who are in the program currently.
Both of them are more stable now than they were when they first came in, but they do still receive some services to more of a booster rather than a full-on slot of services right now.
So Aaron, we'd like to hear what is this program to you? What caused you to enter this program?
This program is really a life changer to me. I ended up growing up in foster care. Angela was actually my caseworker in foster care before this program started. I've known her since I was 14.
Wow.
And I went through foster care, came out at 18, and ended up being kicked out of foster care. Obviously, I aged out. Was on my own for a little while and ran into some everyday life challenges and got in with the wrong crowd, I guess you could say, so to speak, and kind of just fell off and started losing track. And I was homeless for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and eventually I ended up calling up Angela just for more of a moral support. And come to find out, she was running the street outreach program. So I was in Tampa at the time, sleeping in the woods. She drove all the way up to Tampa and picked me up, and the first thing to do was stop and get lunch, because she knew I hadn't eaten in a while and I was hungry. So she came up there, picked me up, brought me back, and kind of was just there as a moral support and helped push me to places where I could get the resources. Got me in the Salvation Army, where I was able to start getting on my feet, pushed me to get back into school, which college is paid for due to the program. So it is a good way for us to get back on track and to be able to better our lives and gain more knowledge of what life is really about, other than just trying to make ends meet in ways that really shouldn't be done. And doing that, I've been in the program for just over 2 years, I believe. And I've received service anywhere from something as simple as getting shampoo, so I have clean hair, all the way up to getting transportation to school so I can enroll, to take tests, to get into college, to even job interviews and leads on, hey, you can possibly work here, you can possibly do this, you know, don't give up. And the support was mainly, it's the biggest thing to the program to me, because without the support, I honestly don't think I'd be here. I don't know what statistics speak, but I mean, according to statistics, I know a majority of kids when they come out of foster care, they don't do very well and they don't last very long. They end up giving up, and I was on that track. And luckily, Angela and this program came through and really lifted me to where I'm at now. And like I said, it's been for about 2.5 years now, and just it's been so much help. I mean, I know that whenever there's a crisis or a problem, or even if it's just a place for me to go yell and vent, I know I can go to Angela's office and just release whatever's on my head, and there's no judgmental feelings there, nothing there. It's a place where I can just go and whatever problems I have can be coped with. And any other resources I may need that I don't know about, she knows about, and if she doesn't, she finds it. And she won't take no for an answer. And that's a big thing, because as a kid growing up, when we're told no, you know, we tend to go off on our own, and you know, we start turning into defiance. And so that helped me become more of a sufficient adult. And now I've gained the skills needed, and I actually, now that I got in the program, she got me an MTI, Manatee Technical Institute, and I started in January, and I will actually be graduating next month as a legal administrative specialist. And that wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for this program. So I went from being on the road to giving up to having a life where I can make a nice size salary with benefits and be able to live life and not allow my future children to go through the same problems I went through. So that's about all I have to say. So I just want to thank you and thank both of you for supporting this program and giving me the opportunity to come speak on this.
Can you say a little bit about how is it when you're in the foster care system and you know that deadline is coming and you're going to be 18 and you don't have something lined up? What's it like?
It's horrific. I mean, it's every day, it's just another thought of what can I do? What am I going to do? And the answers seem to never come. It's always, this might be possible, and you go to strive that direction and then you get blocked somehow. Whether it's from your own means or from means out in the world. And it's just, it was very difficult and very anguishing mentally. And to just try to keep pushing forward was very hard. Luckily, I mean, not a lot of people had it, but I had Angela from when I was 14. So when I did hit that spot, I've always had that push and always had that moral support, which was a big factor in being where I'm at now.
Great. Well, Jazmine, how about you? What caused you to get into the program?
What caused me to get into the program was when I was pregnant and I was, you know, terminated from the checks and everything, and I was with my sister and she was involved with Angela, and she's like, you know, there's this lady who could possibly help you, and I'm like, okay. So she's like, her name is Angela Walsh, and I called her up, and Angela came through and she got me into the Solve House, and she was, you know, she was always there for me, helped me out. She always got me food, even when like my food stamps got cut off or if I needed something, she was always there for me, you know. And she's like always, she has a positive attitude. Like she would always tell you which way to go, which way not to go, and how to do this, how to do that. So she's like kind of like a second mom. She can like definitely guide you in the right direction, and I think that she's really has like a really big heart for all the kids who are actually in this program, because foster care is not easy, and aging out of foster care is definitely not any easier. So without her, I don't really know where I would be. I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. I would probably be somewhere on the street somewhere, or because I was really close to sleeping out there. So, you know, there's times when I was pregnant with my first child and I was sleeping in a abandoned warehouse, stranded in Bradenton, and I called on Angela and she helped me out, and you know, she gave me the support that I needed. And
so what are you doing now then, Jazmine?
me, right now I just got my apartment 4 months ago, and I'm managing bills by myself. I'm doing everything, and I'm going to school. I'm getting my GED soon, hopefully in the next month. You know, I won't go back to the people who I hung out with, because I look at them now and they're still in the same situation. They're still in the same spot. But then I look at myself and I'm like, wow, I came this far. You know, I've been through all of this, and all these people helped me, and they're still here and everything. But all the people who weren't good for me, they're still in the same spot and just not getting better. But nowadays I'm managing bills and doing it all by myself, more involved with my kids and everything. You know, I call on Angela if I need help or something like that. So
What are your goals then?
my goal is to get my GED and to become a veterinarian's assistant, and then become closer to both of my daughters, which I'm doing really good at. My oldest daughter, Jordan, I'm becoming closer to her. She calls me mommy, which feels really good. And then my second daughter, Jiraiya, I had to give up for adoption because I had an open case on my first daughter, but I don't really get to see her that much, so trying to, but not really. So
You've got a lot going on.
I do, and I'm trying to get, because I got adopted when I was 17, so you know, I had up and downs with my adoptive mom, but now I'm getting attached to her, and she's helping me, and she's a mental health counselor, and she like really helps me with everything that I'm going through, and it's really good.
So the program that you run, Angela, do you help them with decision-making skills, life skills, or how does that happen?
Yes. What we do is each youth that comes to us with a different set of problems. So we really sit down with them and talk to them and try to figure out where they're coming from, what they need to be, what they need to, for the immediate, to get them through whatever situation they're in, and then long-term what we can do to try to help them gain some skills so that they possibly don't end up in this situation again. So we look at each of them individually. We've had kids come from every walk of life, not just foster care, although these two did, but they're doing so well that I thought it would be good for them to come out and talk about a little bit about what they've gone through, because they've kind of seen it all, both of them, that long road. We've had youth that have come from normal, quote unquote, normal two-family homes. For one reason or another, they just couldn't stay. And we've had youth that have come from foster care. We've had youth that have the same types of problems that all homeless people face. We've mental health, substance abuse. Although looking at our statistics, we found that they do come from a little bit higher percentage of mental health and substance abuse as opposed to the general overall population. So we really try to look at them individually and find out what they need, and then we address those issues. And if they need referrals for those type of services, referrals or get in the car and I'll take you kind of referrals.
Hand-holding.
Yes, a little bit, but a lot of them are uneducated about what's out there to help them. So we try to do what we can to really push them in the right direction. Easily, not forcibly. But yeah, it's each youth is different, so we really just try to gauge what they need.
Yeah, I know that we have had a lot of youth at the One Stop Center who are kids who their parents have kicked out,
Yes.
because that 17, 18-year-old period of time seems to be a very stressful time for a lot of families, and having had an 18-year-old, I can understand that. So we do try to do the things, as you say, the basic services, but that is a huge need for people to be able to have further services, because as you say, we have such a large population at the One Stop Center, we can't give that individual attention.
Definitely.
So how about you guys? How about your friends? Do you do peer counseling? Do you feel like you're making a difference in the life of some of your friends now that you've been able to see your way through? Jazmine?
I really don't have a lot of friends, but if a friend comes across and they need help, I would always prefer them to go to Angela. But most of my friends that I hung out with weren't really a good idea, because they were the ones who got me in my predicament in the first place. So really I just limit my friends, and I just basically go to school and do what I need to do. But if I do have a friend that needs help and they're really struggling, I will definitely tell them to call Angela, and Angela could work with them.
Great. Aaron?
I do some peer counseling. Similar to Jazmine, I really don't have too many people that I associate with due to the fact that they were all in the wrong environments. Yet with the support of Angela, and as well as my instructor and the guidance counselor at my school, being able to all kind of get together and talk with the peers, no matter what problem they have, they're able to go to her and get the help. There's always that connection between the schools, the environments, and Angela. And that's a big key. And like I said, the final thing I would really like to say for everything was mainly the fact that, I came up, like I said, from sleeping in the woods to being arrested for trespass to Now I have my own place, a 4-month-old son, a girlfriend. I rent a room from somebody who works for the city. You know, something that would never have been possible if it wasn't for this program. So, you know, the first thing I always tell people is don't take no for an answer. There's going to be help out there, and the best you can do is just ask. The worst you're going to get is no, and that's where you're at already, so what's the difference? Just keep asking, and eventually a door will open. And I mean, this program has just done such wonders. I tell everybody, even if it's just somebody to talk to, go to Angela and talk.
Good. Well, obviously there's a huge need for this program in our community, and I'm so glad that you have this program, because I don't know what people would do without it. Well, we know what will happen. So Gigi, any last thoughts about the program and the project? What would you like people in the community to know about it?
I would implore people to become involved. For employers or potential employers to look beyond the trespassing charge that Aaron had and give him a chance. For people to do just one act of kindness, whether it's donate some food that we can keep in our pantry so that when the kids come in we can give them something to eat. I mean, there's no limit on what you can do. It's just a matter of doing it. I'm so proud to know them both. I met Aaron when he was 14 in our shelter, and I'm so proud of you both. I just think it's terrific what you've accomplished. Thank you.
Aaron, how about you? Last thoughts?
I want to thank you and Gigi and Angela for getting together and opening this program and backing it up and just giving the ability for people to be reached. I mean, I've seen myself. I mean, I'm a person myself who needed the help, and there's so many out there that need it. And, you know, just like Gigi said, the smallest thing, a random act of kindness of any way, can really go a long distance. And that's, you know, not only is this county, but the whole world needs that. If every person did one random act of kindness, this whole city and this whole country, this whole world would be such a bigger and better place.
Thanks. Jazmine?
Well, I want to give thanks to, the Street Outreach Program for all of their support when I was down and out and didn't have nowhere to go or needed help with food or shampoo and everything. And I just really give all my thanks to Angela, because without her, like I said, I would be somewhere where I probably don't want to be. So I really do give thanks to that program, and I really appreciated all the stuff they did for me, and they care for me, and they understand how I felt and got me mental health counseling, and so I really do give thanks to them.
Angela?
I guess I would like people to understand that just because some of these youth have had some struggles, alcohol, drugs, mental health, coming out of foster care, that they're really all unique individuals, and to really sit back, give people a chance, and try to see the bigger picture, because we've had some brilliant kids that we've worked with and helped, and they amaze me every day. And so basically, if any help anybody could give is greatly appreciated. We always need the basics, underwear, socks, and hygiene products and food, and lots of water now these days. So if anybody would like to donate any of that, we would be more than happy to take that off your hands and get it to the right surface, the right people.
Well, I would like to thank Gigi Kelly of Manatee Children's Services, Angela Walsh of the Street Outreach Program, and her two clients, Aaron Smith and Jazmine Clark, for taking the time to share their stories and the programs with our audience today. You may direct questions about anything you have heard today on this program to Gigi or to me. Our contact information will be shown after the close of this program. Thank you for joining us today to learn about services available to people in need in our community. I hope that you have learned something about what your community has to offer, and I look forward to being with you next time on Manatee Cares.